Chelsea's massive squad of players are struggling for fitness and form as of right now. We just lost to Sunderland, but that did come off the back of a good run of 4 wins. But some of the youngsters who are loaned, owned, and otherwise connected to Chelsea are absolutely smashing it at their respective clubs. Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And today, I don't want to talk about Chelsea players. I'm just a bit... No, it's all good, man. It's all good. The loss against Sunderland was difficult, but, we've got Wolves coming up and then Tottenham, which is another really big game. But ultimately, there's something else to talk about today. And that is some of the youngsters that Chelsea own that are out at other clubs that are absolutely smashing it. And some Chelsea fans are calling for those players to be brought home ASAP. But guys, before we get into the video, if you are enjoying the content and would like to see more, please do me the distinct honor of liking and sharing the video, subscribe to the channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. Right, so the main focus of today's video, although there are lots of players out there that are doing really well, don't get me wrong, there's 3 in particular that I would like to talk about, and I might drop another few in later in the video. Today we are going to talk about Giovanni Quenda, the 18-year-old left-footed right winger. Feels like we might already have one of those, but who is smashing it out in Sporting Lisbon. The Courtois regen that Chelsea fans are desperate to see in goal after his heroics against Lyon, Mike Penders, and another player that we are unlikely to bring back, but forgotten man Diego Moreira, who's been called the next Marcelo. So we'll start with Quenda. Giovanni Quenda, we bought at the same time that we bought Dario Usugo. That was start of last season, I think, or it was last January. I can't remember exactly when it was, but we bought Dario Usugo and Giovanni Quenda at the same time. It was last January because we agreed to loan Dario Usugo back to Sporting for the rest of that season, and we agreed to let them keep Giovanni Quenda for the entirety of this season. So Dario Usugo, obviously injured. Big shame. Looked like we really could have done with him at the moment because Moises Caicedo isn't even training every day. But Giovanni Quenda is 18 years old and is tearing it up at Sporting, man. Absolutely tearing it up. He's, like I say, kind of in the mould of Esteval Willian. He's a left-footed right winger, but he is much more of a winger than Esteval Willian is. Admittedly, Esteval Willian wants to play in the centre. Enzo Maresca has come out and said, I see Esteval playing in the centre in the future. That's not going to be the case for Quenda. Quenda looks like the long-term replacement for Pedro Neto. And he's, like I say, man, he's just been killing it at Sporting. And not even just at Sporting. I know it's not exactly the same kind of level, but he also plays for the Portugal under-21s, and he's not doing too shabby over there either. So I'm going to go through a couple of Quenda's stats just to help us get excited. Maybe it will also allow us to lament what we could have in the squad at the moment, but at the end of the day, the answer right now probably isn't more 18-year-olds, is it? But either way, over in Portugal for Sporting Lisbon, Giovanni Quenda has made 9 appearances, 4 of which being starts. He scored 1 goal and got 3 assists. So, interesting because he's 18, right? And at the end of the day, for only 4 of those appearances to be starts, that means that he's not, similar to how we're treating Esteval Willian, he's not just being thrown into the fire and absolutely getting started every game. But that shows you that he is providing in those games that he is being started and the ones where he's coming in off the bench. Most recently, he was rested for a game in the Portuguese league, came on for the last 20 minutes, scored a header. Do you know what I mean? Scored a header, which is not exactly your typical wingery kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? And he is a bit of a wingery winger. That one's for you, Mo. But at the same time, like, he just looks really, really good and comfortable in his league, and he is being used the right way. Do you know what I mean? Because he's like... And like I say, it mirrors what we're doing with Esteval Willian. I am desperate, and a lot of Chelsea fans are desperate to see Esteval just get starts. But it is a lot of pressure to put on someone that is so young, that has just moved to the country, that struggles with the language and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Now, it's a little bit different for Quenda because he's Portuguese. He speaks the language. It's where he's from. But at the same time, even with all of those extra things, and the fact that he is producing numbers in the league, he is not just being started every single game, but he is taking those opportunities when he's getting them and getting numbers on the board. Sporting are also in this season's Champions League, which makes sense. I've done videos about this before, because we were potentially interested in buying Sporting Lisbon. Haven't heard anything about that in a while, but ultimately they are a storied Champions League team at the end of the day, aren't they? So in the Champions League, Giovanni Quenda has made 3 appearances, and all 3 of those have been starts. And in those 3 games, he has got 1 goal and 1 assist. So good return. Again, being trusted in the biggest competition and putting up numbers. Absolutely love to see it. And as I said before, he's not doing too shabby for the Portugal under-21s either. For the Portuguese under-21s, Giovanni Quenda has made 3 appearances, 2 of which have been starts, and he's got 2 goals and an assist. So for club and country across the season, Giovanni Quenda has made 15 appearances, 9 starts with 4 goals and 5 assists. 9 involvements in 15 is more than a 50% return, which is great. And don't get me wrong, like, I understand the Portuguese league not as strong as the Premier League or whatever, but at the end of the day, he's an 18-year-old kid, very much like Estevão Willian, and you'd have to argue that the Portuguese league is a lot stronger than the Brazilian league is. Do you know what I mean? So is it top 5 leagues? Is Portugal top 5 leagues? I'm not 100% sure. I would love for one of you guys in the comments to tell me that. But at the same time, man, it's like he is very, very young. He is being used the right way, and he's getting numbers out of it. So Giovanni Quenda is one we can absolutely be excited about. Now, I guess the thing with Giovanni Quenda is his position in particular. We are quite stacked. Estevão Willian has been featuring mostly on the right wing when he's been playing, and Pedro Neto is largely undroppable at the moment, isn't he? Now, again, I know that, there's a couple of you guys that aren't particularly happy with his output, but the way I see Pedro Neto in particular is kind of akin a bit to the Willian thing. Do you know, the old Willian? He wasn't always piling away goals and assists, but he played a really important part of just being fit and available and athletic. And he does get goals and assists, and he scored that free kick the other day, didn't he? Which was absolutely sublime. So Quenda, if Quenda comes in next season, which I do kind of expect him to be honest, that would kind of signify that Estevão Willian is going to get more time in the centre of attack, wouldn't it? Because like I say, I'd be surprised if we sold Neto at the end of this window. Nothing's impossible, do you know what I mean? But also you want someone with a bit of experience, don't you? To be able to take that side. So what I could see happening is if we don't go in for another centre attacker and Estevão has a good season this season, and then he and it's similar to Cole Palmer, isn't it? I know he started under Pochettino, but Cole Palmer largely started playing out on the right wing, which helped him get game time. And then obviously the more comfortable we got and, the more we started to realise his absolute brilliance, he started moving into the centre of the park. So, maybe we could be, in a situation next season when Cole Palmer is fit and healthy, that we could see Cole Palmer and Estevão Willian playing in as like a dual 10 kind of thing. That would be really, really interesting to see. And, how we line up with that would be really interesting to see as well. But at the end of the day, Quenda coming in can't be a bad thing. If he carries on his current rate, do you know what I mean? He's going to get 20 goal involvements this season for Sporting, which would be absolutely amazing. Well, maybe not to, club and country. Do you know what I mean? Club and country if he keeps going the way he's going. So I think it's reasonable to be excited about Giovanni Quenda. Next up is Big Mike Penders. Mate, this guy. So in particular, the Quenda one is a bit more difficult, isn't it? Because we've got Pedro Neto, we've got Estevão Willian, we've got loads of wingers. So it's like, okay, it's going to be a bit more of a struggle to fit him in. Mike Penders, Chelsea fans just want him in now, man. Like, at the end of the day, I wouldn't want to bring him in January because I think the best thing for his development would be to stay at Strasbourg because he's doing very well over there at the moment. And yes, it might be better for us if we brought him in, but at the same time, it's like I'd rather bring him in next season. And it's almost a bit less pressure at that point, isn't it? Because if you bring Mike Penders in January, that's saying fight with Robert Sanchez now in the middle of the season when we're not performing quite as well as we want to, and he wouldn't have the preseason with us. And do you know what I mean? It's definitely a bit more of a big ask, but lots of people are sick of Robert Sanchez. Philip Jorgensen, it's just no one's talking about Philip Jorgensen, good or bad. He is just kind of not really in the forefront of any of our minds, is he? So Mike Pender's performing really well in the league, and it's not like with Quenda where I'm going to be like, he's played this many games. Obviously, it's a goalkeeper. The position's so different. But the recent thing on everyone's lips is, so unfortunately, Strasbourg just lost a game to Lyon 2-1 in Ligue 1. But Mike Penders saved a penalty and made 7 accurate long balls, man. And it's just like, oh, mate, that is literally like exactly the kind of keeper that we're looking for. Do you know what I mean? Someone that has got the confidence to save a penalty at his young age as well. That's mad. But also those pinpoint long balls, do you know what I mean? That we don't see enough of from Sanchez. Sanchez, I mean, the days are numbered, man. The days are numbered. And it really does just feel like we are kind of pushing through until the situation arises. We are being linked with other goalkeepers. Mike Maignan is still being talked about, but I don't think it'd be unreasonable to see Mike Penders come in at the end of the season and push Robert Sanchez for that number 1 spot. And it kind of makes sense, man. It kind of makes sense. There's another, I can't remember who it is. There's another young goalkeeper that Chelsea have just started looking at today as well. So it looks like they want the future goalkeeper to be a bit younger. But, Mike Pender's absolutely smashing it, man. And like I say, for me, he's got to stay there for the rest of the season, even at the detriment of Chelsea's season. Do you know what I mean? I think the best thing for the future is for him to carry on developing out there. But he really does look like he could be our answer in the sticks for a decade. Do you know what I mean? What we wanted Courtois to be at the end of the day. So Mike Pender's really, really, really exciting. And although I would love to see him come in, I do, like I say, man, I think the best thing for him is to stay over there. He also put in an excellent performance against PSG in that draw they got with PSG. Do you know what I mean? Liam Rosenior's doing a really good job with him. And ultimately, like I say, I think he is going to be the man for the future. I think it is possible that he comes in at the end of the season to battle for the number one, a la Courtois and Cech when Courtois came in initially. He didn't just get the spot. He had to fight for it. Jose Mourinho ended up choosing him over Petr Cech, which must have hurt, but it was the right thing to do because we won the league with him, didn't we? So, moving on. Now, this player isn't one that we're going to bring back, but it is just one of those, isn't it? Like, it's really annoying seeing a player that you sold for literally nothing, absolutely smashing it, and it is Diego Moreira. We sold Diego Moreira to Strasbourg for 1.7 mil. He got a go in the team. Do you know what I mean? He did get a shot in the team at the beginning of the Pochettino season. He got a couple of goes on the wing. I think even he maybe came back because he was on loan at Strasbourg last season. He's been sold there now, but he's kind of tearing it up at the moment, man. So he is playing. Their formation is quite interesting, actually. They're playing a three at the back, and their left wing back is inverted into midfield, and Diego Moreira is playing in that like half space behind the striker. And he's essentially playing as a byline winger. If you look at his heat map, it's like bang, red all on the left. And he's being compared to the next Marcelo. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing at the moment. It's like, oh, mate, this guy, absolute madness. I think he's Brazilian, but has opted to play for Belgium. I think I saw him in a Belgian kit earlier. So, but another young Brazilian, awesome player. And it's just like, oh, man, byline wingers... we are still struggling with our left wingers. Yes, Garnacho got his goal, but Jamie Gittins looks like he's struggling. And do you know what I mean? And Diego Moreira just seems to be going from strength to strength. And it is just a bit hard to watch that when we sold him for such a small amount of money. He is being looked at by Juventus at the moment. So he's starting to attract interest from big clubs. Now, as far as like contractual stuff goes, what I have seen is we don't have a buyback clause. So what I'm not sure, but ultimately because Blueco own it all, do you know what I mean? It'll be Blueco that makes the decision to sell him one way or the other. And, depending on how much he goes for, because they bought him for 1.7 mil. So if they get 20 mil plus, like that's bank. Do you know what I mean? That's absolute bank. There is a chance maybe that we buy him back just to sell him. I don't think he'll get in the team. Do you know what I mean? He might end up just being an asset, but there's no buyback clause. But at the end of the day, because it is Blueco that own him, then they can kind of just make that decision, can't they? So as far as stats, just to really, sort of pinpoint how well he's doing. In Liga, he's made 8 appearances. 7 of those have been starts, and he has got 1 goal and 3 assists. So again, one in 2. Do you know what I mean? For ultimately, you don't expect your byline wingers to kind of contribute that much. And, he's obviously doing really well with the assists. I think he kind of plays a similar way to how Neto plays when Neto's on the left, obviously being that he's predominantly left-footed. But those assist numbers are really good, man. And at the end of the day, I guess the thing with that is they've got 2 strikers, Pacicelli, I can't remember his name, but they've got, the striker that is playing at the moment, and they do have a Mega, and a Mega is obviously injured, which is annoying because we've just bought him and he's coming in at the end of the season, but he looks like he might be another injury-prone player. But, their strikers generally are on pretty good form. Strasbourg are 7th in the league at the moment, which is good, man. Do you know what I mean? To say they were 15th when Blueco took them over, they are climbing and climbing and climbing. They nearly got in the Champions League last year, and they're having another good season this year. And the young Chelsea players are making waves, man. I'll move on to one last player. I didn't put him in the thumbnail, but bears talking about a little bit. He is a Chelsea-owned player. It is Mamadou Sarr. Mamadou Sarr was an interesting one, wasn't he? He's a centre-back. We bought him basically at the start of the 10-day transfer window before the Club World Cup. He came to the Club World Cup with us, played 1 game and got some minutes. Do you know what I mean? And looked okay or whatever. But again, really young player, 19 at the time. He's 20 now. And we loaned him back to Strasbourg. With our centre-back issues, that looks like it might have been a faux pas. Yes, he's really, really young, but he's doing really well, man. 7 games, 7 starts, and obviously really trusted by the manager. And do you know what I mean? Like, just to see they've had 9 games. Do you know what I mean? And just to see one of their players has performed like in so many of those games and is so consistent, it's just like, oh man, what could be at Chelsea? What could be indeed? So, in terms of like, are we going to see any of these players soon? No, probably not, because the best thing for them to do is to stay out where they are and keep on developing. Giovanni Quenda, if he keeps going, do you know what I mean? If Giovanni Quenda keeps going the way that he is, he could have 20 goals and assists, combined by the end of the season for club and country, which would be amazing for when he comes into the team. Mike Penders is the big, name on everyone's lips at the moment. And that is a much more obvious one for Chelsea fans because our goalkeeping situation is so savage. Let me know in the comments, do you think bringing in Mike Penders, to fight for the number 1 next season is the right thing to do? Would you bring him in now? Or do you think we let him stay there for another season and bring in someone like a Mike Maignan? Diego Moreira, probably not going to come back into the team, but he's just, like I say, man, seems like another potential faux pas because we sold him for nothing, literally 1.7 mil we sold him to Strasbourg for. And now Juventus are coming in for him. People are calling him the next Marcelo, and it looks like he could be on for a really, really good season. And Mamadou Sarr will come back to the team. We expected Ati to go. I think it's possible Badiashile goes. Tosin, maybe as well. I don't know, man. Do you know what I mean? Tosin, if Tosin doesn't get loads of playing time this season, because like Achiampong looks like he's starting to do really well, doesn't he? We've got the likes of Mamadou Sarr coming in next season, and also you would expect us to go out and buy another centre back, wouldn't you? Then maybe we could be losing 2 or 3 centre backs. So I think Mamadou Sarr could be an excellent squad player for us next season. Either way, the future is bright. The future is blue. The future is Chelsea youngsters, isn't it? And, that's just going to be how it is until maybe the likes of Dave Fallows come in and start changing the playbook a little bit. So nice one, guys. This has just kind of been a little lone watch or, something like that, just to have a look at a few of the players that are doing really well, just to help pick us up a little bit after that difficult loss to Sunderland. I hope you guys are all having an absolutely wicked day. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to stick around for some more Stamford Sync, then check out this one, which is one thing I think Enzo Maresca needs to learn from Jose Mourinho. Nice one, guys. Take it easy. Peace.